Well, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we're joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey goaltender with the Port Huron Prowlers and the Federal Prospects Hockey, Bailey Huber. Bailey's this is Bailey's first year in the FPHL with Port Huron, but before he stepped into the pro game, he spent 4 years in NCAA Division III college hockey with St. John's University. And even before that, he spent time in the NA3 AHL with the Granite City Lumberjacks for his junior hockey days, and as well as playing high school hockey in Minnesota. So, Bailey, I'm super excited to get you on. So, welcome to the show, Bailey Huber.
Thanks for having me. Super excited to be here.
Yeah, of course. It's gonna be a good time, and I know you've had a pretty good year so far as well. So, like, what's it like? What's it been like in your first year pro in Port Huron?
It was definitely a big adjustment at the start. I mean, you go from playing a Division III college schedule, which has like 25 regular season games, to now you're jumping into first year pro and you're at 56 games. So you're pretty much doubling and some before you even hit playoffs. So like just as far as like recovery, even like it's not easy, but it's definitely easier to get yourself in a good position to play 25 games a season, but to now double that and try to be ready to go every week, it's definitely a big adjustment.
Yeah, what's it been like on that recovery phase and just making sure the body's good, especially when you have 3-3s coming up the next 2-3 weekends.
Yeah, I mean, I lucked out that we've had Reed Cooper on our team this year, so he's been a pro goalie for a few years now, and
Yeah,
you sort of like get in the locker room that first week, even like training camp, and just seeing what he does to sort of get ready and stay prepared, and then as well as like one of those things in college, like you have a meal plan a little bit, so you can go and eat at the cafeteria now. Now I got to learn how to cook a little bit and take care of myself that way too. So definitely like recovery, just whether it's working out, stretching, rolling out, whatever, and also like in the kitchen, learning how to cook and fuel my body the right way to be able to feel good every day.
yeah. What have you been cooking up to help the process to recover and eat some good food?
I'm a big taco guy, so just a little ground beef, some tortillas, cheese, sour cream, keeping it simple. But like other than that, just chicken rice, chicken pasta, a lot of eggs.
There you go. I can't go wrong with the eggs or chicken pasta. Quick easy fixes.
Yeah, I'm not one to make some crazy meals or anything like that. I try to keep it simple and as quick as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm the same way. Can't do anything fancy. I'll just keep it basic, and I could eat like that for weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, like if you're adjusting to your first year in Port Huron, like you put up you're 9.95 right now. Like what and like you put up an 8.95 save percentage, 2.77 goals against average. So like what's it been like personally like having that success and finding your way in the Fed?
It's been pretty interesting this year because I came out of the gate, my first start was pretty exciting. Like everybody's riled up for you and then you end up playing well in that first start. But after that I hit a couple bumps in the road as far as like giving up 8 in a game or giving up 5 like back to back. And it's like, oh my gosh, like can I do this? What's going on right now? But then like our coaching staff has been really good about just like, you know, don't focus as much as the results as much as like, are you improving every week? And like, are you doing all the things that you want to do to improve as well as just like being dialed in practice? And like within the last month and a half, 2 months, like my game has really shifted and I feel a lot more comfortable and more like battle tested, you could say. And I've been able to play pretty well the last few games, but we do goalie skates like once or twice a week, every week. So just getting on the ice, working on some pretty small details has helped a lot this year for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure that that's helped a ton, especially having a coach like Paulie who's played the position and like you said, he runs the goalie skates as well. So like, what's it like having a guy like Paulie be there and he knows his stuff with his goalies.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I know earlier in the year I would be on the ice and he'd also be in his pads too. So like we were going through it together. Like the drills aren't designed to be easy. They're designed to, for us to try to make saves that matter in games, like whether it's crunch time or just things going like things going wrong in the zone. You're like soaking a big D shift, but those drills that we're doing are changing the game for sure. And just like whether it's him or I'm with Coop or Jameson, like we're able to bounce our ideas off each other too. And like, what do you see in this drill that might help me or might help you? And so that's been really nice as well as like Paulie being sure to keep us dialed.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta have guys to keep you dialed and keep things interesting in a competitive way.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely a competitive guy, and he gets every ounce of it out of you too, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, what's been one of the biggest like things on ice besides obviously recovery and just trying to find like the battles and just like throughout the first year in the Fed and in your game. Like, what are some other lessons that you've learned?
I mean, some of the specifics that we kind of just have drilled into my head at this point is like there's so many ways that as a goalie you can take control of the game. Like whether you give up a goal and that next shot is so big, or just like one thing that we've really worked on this year is being early and set to pucks. So a lot less like following the play, but trying to beat passes. Like get across the ice to that other player's stick before the puck gets there, which gives you the best chance to be set and ready for that shot to come in. And then another thing with Paulie is he's big on like stick work. So just making sure like if we can get our stick on that puck and get out of play, like we got to do it and try to end plays because the longer you soak a D zone shift, like the more likely you are to give up a goal.
Yeah, I can't be having that. You just gotta get rid of gotta put that puck in the netting any way you can.
Yeah, just try to get a whistle however you can.
Yeah, exactly. But like, what was your first win like in the Fed and just getting that first pro win out of the way? And obviously you've been on a roll since. So like, what was that first game like for you?
It was special. I mean, like you kind of wait for that moment. And, like we're winning games too at that point. I don't remember how many games we'd won in a row at that point, but I think it was like our third weekend series of the year. And so like you get the jitters and you're like, all right, I'm finally gonna get to play a game, or like you never know when it's coming. It's like, all right, here's my chance. And just taking that all in. Um, I don't even remember if we scored first or they scored first, but it was like 1-1 for most of the game, and then finally in the third period we got a second goal, and it was like just like a breath of fresh air almost. But and then towards the end of that game, it was either like 6-on-4 or 6-on-5 for what felt like forever, and you're just kind of like guys are selling out, trying to block shots, and
Yeah.
you're like trying to get in the way of the puck, but. I mean, we were able to get it done, and it was a tight 2-1 game, but it was super exciting.
Yeah. Though those always seem like the longest shifts when it's the last like minute of the game and everyone's just selling out for pucks and it feels like 1 minute takes 5 minutes for the buzzer to actually hit.
Oh yeah, just time is like half speed.
Exactly. But yeah, you've had a good first year so far. Like what's it been like the culture in the room and everything? Because I know Port Huron, like I've had Fats on the podcast, I've had Jameson on the podcast, and they just talk about the just the chemistry within the room and just like how it's a family atmosphere.
Yeah, it's really special. Like it's something that you don't expect to like coming into your first year pro, and it's kind of like these guys love the logo,
Yeah.
like whatever needs to be done, whatever we're gonna endure in a week of practice or in games, like we know how chippy we play, and we know we try to play as hard as we can through the whistle every shift, but like everybody's on the same page too, and like it's not just guys that show up to the rink, put the work in and leave. It's like we're hanging out all the time, whether it's away from the rink, at the rink, like hotels, whatnot. Like everybody's really close, and not really like going on their own pages anywhere. It's like just it's one big family, and you can really just go up to anybody, whether it's like vets or whether it's another rookie or somebody. But like they'll all treat you like family. They'll treat you the same way. They're not going to look at you any differently because of like your age or position, whatever. So
Yeah.
it's been really helpful, honestly.
Yeah, that's huge. No one's going against the goalies because apparently we're the weird ones in the room.
Yeah, that still happens, but you just learn to live with it.
Yeah, exactly. But before you spent time in the Fed, you spent 4 years playing NCAA Division III with St. John's University. So like, what was the process like to commit to St. John's after playing a couple seasons in Granite City and then A3?
Yeah, so like playing in the NA3, there's you don't see too many guys go like Division 3 and even get the chance to like play or start at a Division 3 level. Like it's one of those places where you kind of have to have a chip on your shoulder when you
Yeah,
go into that league, and it's like it's also important to go somewhere where you're going to play games too. And for me, like Granite City was that spot where I loved the coaches. I loved everything about it. We were treated amazingly there. And it was an opportunity for me just to start playing a ton of games. And like at that point it's all about having fun still, because like anywhere, like that's how hockey is. Like you just want to have
yeah,
fun. But like I lucked out and we were on a pretty good team both those seasons that I was there, and just started winning games and having fun. But it definitely gave me an opportunity in Granite City, where St. John's is actually like might be 20 minutes away from the rink we played at Granite. So it gave me that opportunity for St. John's to come watch, and I left after my second year. I had one more year, but I was just like, it's the right time now to commit to St. John's, and like I had a really good like relationship with my coaches there as well, and it made it pretty seamless.
yeah. Your first year, you got to see a little bit of just like the transition period. Like you didn't see any actions. Like what'd you do that first year? It was all, during the 21-22 season, just get ready because you ended up getting in 19 games that following year and having a big year your sophomore year.
Yeah, so we had a fifth year that year. His name was Mac Burgov, and that was like it was kind of like in a sense a little bit similar to this year as far as like a learning experience, because you go from like you're playing against 18 through 20-year-olds in juniors to now you're playing against like at 21 through 25, and even
Yeah,
with all the COVID stuff, like people are getting fifth year, sixth year, and so you're going from playing like just boys to men, and like definitely the speed and like the quickness of that jump from NA3 to D3 was noticeable. But Mac did a really good job of sort of like taking me under his wing and showing me how I should train. And like, funnily enough, like him and I had been coworkers and like in the same goalie company as well. So I knew him a bit before I committed, and we trained together a little bit. So I saw how he trained and stuff. And moving into that season, it just made it a lot easier, like knowing guys already there and being able to get comfortable really fast and just take in a lot of information about Division 3 hockey and how important every game is in like those divisions. Because in our division, only five teams would make playoffs. So like every MIAC game was really important to win.
yeah. Those are the best games to play and win. Is yeah, you have to win those games and it just brings out the best in everyone, especially when you're playing for the top five for the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. And Mac ended up being like I think he's like a second team All-American that year. So he had a really good year, which also helped me learn like, hey, I can do this. Like I can play at this level coming into my sophomore year. And then I got to play a lot of games that year and sort of just had a good year as well that year, just falling like piggybacking off of his greatness that he left there.
Yeah, exactly. Like what what did you learn like about like your habits throughout that first year? Because it's obviously like you said a transition when you're going from playing every game to then not playing, but you're having a guy like Matt come in, take you under his wing, and like you learn, like you said, you learn from him a lot. So like, what did you learn about your habits that first year?
It was a lot of maturing for sure. Like in high school and juniors, you can kind of get through practices sometimes just kind of going through the motions and like not being completely engaged at the start of a practice. But like when you know you're not going to play any games, you kind of got to treat those practices like games. And so it became like those battle days would get really intense. It was like, he's this good, but I want to be better than him and I want to beat him in those like in all the small area games or whatever games we play. And it was definitely a maturing experience to learn from. Also, he was probably like 5 years older than me at that point too. So like to me, he looked like a grown up, and I was just like a kid. But yeah, it was like he was pretty strict. He cares a lot about the game. He cares about the little details too. Like for him, like getting in the weight room, all the hand-eye, all the stretching, like all that stuff was something that was really important to him, and that was
Yeah.
something that he shared with me as well. And he came back those like the following year and worked with us a lot with hand-eye stuff too, which made that transition easier too, because he was now our goalie coach my sophomore year, and like I had that relationship with him already my freshman year, which helped a lot.
Yeah, that's huge to have him be your goalie coach after taking you under his wing and like you said, like you got that hot start sophomore year and you went on rolls. Like what was like just being able to play 19 games and really getting your foot in the door from NA3 to playing NCAA Division III hockey.
It was fun. It definitely proved that like I was capable of what I believed I was capable of. And like I still
Yeah.
remember my first start. We were at like non-conference. We were at River Falls, who was pretty good that year. And we go in, we win. It's like Halloween weekend too, so like it's packed and go in, win like 3-1 or something, and just like everybody celebrates, just giving it to those guys. And we just celebrate on the bus ride home. Or like, and then from there it was kind of like you get in that zone where it's you play one game and then you play another one, you play well, and if you can just stay hot, like it's hard to take the net away, right? Like you get in that zone and you're kind of like, it's my net to give up." And I love my goalie partner. I had him for 3 years too, and we became super close by the time I was a senior. But we had a pretty healthy competition as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
But
it's always good when you have that like healthy competition where you guys both better each other every day and you guys are very close, like you bet like best of friends there and you're able to just shoot the shit with each other and just learn off of each other and just go off of each other as well.
yeah, it definitely helped. And like building into that junior year, senior year, like I know my sophomore year, like he was a freshman, he was still learning like the ropes of Division III college hockey, but like we had trained together like from Bantams all the way through high school, and so I knew him pretty well. And it was like we're gonna try to like control this division and play as the best we can and steal as many games as we can. And obviously, like it's easier said than done because
Yeah.
like our my junior junior year we struggled a little bit to get wins. I think we were just up like around 500. So it was frustrating, but we were still in it together.
Yeah, like what do you learn throughout those struggles when the team's struggling, you're trying to find wins, but they're not coming. Like what do you because like every season has those ups and downs. Like what do you learn from that season to take into pro this season and even your senior year before that?
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating because you want to win. You want to win every game you play,
Yeah.
obviously, and you want to like try to contend for a national tournament. And um, it was kind of like, well, like we really just had to take a step back. And for me especially, like I'm a big like sports psychology guy and all that, and I work with a sports psychologist. But it was kind of like control what you can control, right? Like there's so much in a game that's just out of your control. So if I
Yeah.
can mentally prepare and like get my body prepared the best that I can to give my team the best chance to win. And like you'll get in games where it's a tough start, right? You give up like two quick goals and you're down 2-0, and it's like, all right, now I need to like lock in, and it goes from like being perfect to do whatever I can to give my team a chance to win. And sort of just keeping that mentality that like not getting too positive when it's going well, but not getting too negative when it goes bad. Just kind of finding
Yeah.
that neutral place where like everything could always be worse is what they said. And you're kind of just trying to battle to neutral.
Yeah, exactly. Goaltending is a chaotic position. We're put into some chaos and gotta fight our way out and find a way to make that save, even if it's three, four saves in a row. Like you just gotta battle and find ways to win and find ways to make those saves.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely like an all eyes are on you. Like you play great, you get too many flowers and you suck. There's a lot of eyes looking at you.
Yeah, exactly. But then after your junior year, like another great learning experience for you, and then you go into your senior year. Like, what was that last year like for you? And just like with the ambitions to play pro after, like what was that last year like for you?
That last year was super exciting because that was probably the closest our team had been ever, just because we only had two new freshmen that year. So we kind of had the same team coming back, and we were all really
Yeah,
bought into like getting better together and doing all these things together, which is something that like you don't think about as much until you're actually in it, where it's like, we'll beat great teams, and then there's nights off obviously too where you can't get a win. It's just how hockey is. But we were all in it together. We never really like pointed fingers at somebody like, oh, you're doing this wrong. It was kind of like we're all brothers here. We're gonna battle till the end. But with that being said, I knew that I wanted to play professionally after. And so I felt like I didn't feel a lot of weight on my shoulders to have to perform well, but I knew like I had it in me to be able to play well and then give my team chances to win, which helped a lot just from maturing throughout those first 3 years. I was now like an old guy on the team, and I was like, I know the systems, I know how this works, I know what I'm going to see, and all that along with my preparation sort of helped me get ready for that big year of like playing well, stealing some games, and just preparing to for that next level and that next jump.
yeah. And like after your last game, like you look back on like all the different memories and everything like that, and like all the different experiences of playing college. Like, what are some of your favorite experiences and favorite moments playing college hockey at the NCAA level?
Oh, our school was awesome. Just our team was really close, and like we had a few hockey houses off campus where like everybody would gather up, and we were always together. So that's definitely one of the best moments. But hockey wise, we like it's called Hockey Day Minnesota. It's a pretty big deal in Minnesota, at
Yeah.
least for like high school level. So we got to play a game on that rink against like Augsburg, who was our big rival at the time, and that was my sophomore year. We ended up beating them like 5-4 in overtime, and it was like so dark out. So once the puck got above the glass, it was like, oh gosh, where is it? So the other goalie and I like we knew each other, and we were just like we're just battling and trying to be blockers right now and just get in the way of pucks. And it was just a high scoring affair, but it was pretty electric having all the like our fans drive down to the event and like
Yeah.
winning it in overtime, celebrating to the glass. It was pretty special.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
awesome.
yeah, like that was probably my favorite memory.
Yeah, that's awesome. Especially being from Minnesota, like you have that experience and you know what it is. You play in that rink, like it's a great experience. But like, what was it like growing up in Minnesota? Because it's the hockey state. Minnesota's the hockey state. So like, what was it like growing up in Minnesota and just going throughout high school hockey in Minnesota? Because there's especially with the Minnesota high school hockey.
Yeah, it's madness. I mean, like I actually started my hockey career in Spokane, Washington, so I didn't know a whole lot about Minnesota until I moved like in during Pee-wees. But once I got there, you go to like the state tournament and it's at the rink that the Wild play at, and you just go there and it's packed and you're like, my gosh, like these are high school teams. But like I got to start as a sophomore in high school and I played for a team called Matamirai, and we were fortunate enough to go to the state tournament my sophomore and junior year. So you get all like under those bright lights and everybody's watching. It's just so exciting and cool. But it
Uh,
definitely is. It's a lot different than like other states for sure, where maybe like prep or like your triple A's or tier ones or your big horses in hockey. But in Minnesota, it's something special where it seems like every high school's got a team and a team that can compete too.
yeah, super competitive and everything. Like you see that from the Minnesota State championship games, and I know your Instagram profile pictures from there. I'm pretty sure. It's like, what was it like playing at the XL Energy Center over there in that big rink where the Wild play?
Yeah, it's crazy. And like the tournament is sort of like broadcasted the same way as like a wild game. So like there's the all hockey hair team and stuff, and so everybody's got some crazy stuff going on with their hair because you're trying to make that team. So the one year, my sophomore year, we our whole team like bleached our hair, and so that's what that picture is. It's like the skate up where you skate up, say like hi mom, hi like
Yeah.
whoever. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. I had like a mini mullet going on with like blue X's sharpied into my head, and it was crazy. And then we ended up losing that year, so like the next year,
Ouch.
like it's cursed, it's gotta be. So nobody dyed their hair, and so it was like everybody had normal hair, and we made it one step further in the tournament, but we still ended up losing. So we're like, well, maybe it's not the hair.
Yeah, the hair is not the reason for winning like that, but hey, you get some pretty good flow and pretty good mullets when with all hair teams, so you can't complain.
No, you can. And now, yeah, nowadays you see like crazier stuff. Like people are going
Yeah,
like leopard print hair, and it's like if you just watch those videos, like it's hilarious.
yeah,
But it's
exactly.
tradition, so it's like you just live for it.
Yeah, it's probably the best thing of the best part of the season is to get to that point.
Yeah, and then my senior year, I ended up transferring to Holy Family, which was a private school, and I learned a lot that year just from like what we like the situation we went in. We were like a 500 team going into playoffs, so like at Matamidi, we were always like one of the top favorites to go to the tournament, right? Like, and then you
Yeah,
switch to a school that's like now we're the 5 seed, so we had to beat like teams that were higher ranks than us, and it was a definitely a growing year because like you go from being really good at Mirai to now you're like struggling and you're battling at adversity, and like you're 500, so you're obviously not like killing everybody. You're doing your fair share of winning, your fair share of losing. But that year really helped me prepare for juniors because
yeah,
I knew I wanted to keep playing after high school, and that was sort of the next step for me was how can I get prepared for junior hockey?
yeah. So then you go throughout that year, you prepare and go throughout high school hockey. You go into Granite City, like what, and like you said before you got to college, like you wanted a place where you're gonna play games, and you played a bunch of games those 2 years in Granite City. So like, what was your development throughout that first year into your second year to get ready for that college season after that?
It was pretty awesome. Like I said, like I had a super good relationship with our coaches, and we had a goalie coach there as well, which I still work with him in the summers, and I work in the same company too when I'm coaching. And just sort of having like somebody in your corner that you can sort of bounce ideas off like weekly because you see him, he'd come up like once a week for a goalie session, but you'd see him on weekends and you can like watch film with them and you're just kind of bouncing ideas. But having somebody like a goalie coach in your corner that you can just kind of relate to and he can relate to you and what you're going through and what you're seeing and what you're missing goes a long way in your development. And definitely like I feel like I played a similar amount of games my senior year. I think I played a ton. I played a lot more games my senior year than I did my sophomore or junior in high school. So it prepared me to play that amount of games again in a junior scenario and just kind of work with like having a heavier load of games, which also helped like propel me into college where it's you go back down to that high school schedule, which is less games, but you're prepared if you need to play all of them.
Yeah, the workload's a little bit different, but like you're already used to that workload, so you're able to use that experience to play that amount of games and really know what works and what doesn't for your body.
Yeah, exactly. And like that being said, it also prepares you. Like I don't even know what the number of games I played last year was, but I think I'm right around that number of games played this year. So like I knew I could prepare my body to play that amount of games coming into my first year pro too.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's big to learn that early and just go from there and develop throughout college, throughout and now into pro. But like, what really started that love for the position of goaltending? Because it's a fun position. A lot of people don't that aren't goalies don't understand why we put ourselves through the mind of a goalie.
Yeah, I started as a player. I hated goalie when I was in like mites, and I was like, no, I'm not. Played
I
soccer
want
as
to
well. I
score
hated
goals.
soccer. And I was like, yeah, I wanted to score goals, and then I don't even remember like what the scenario was, but it like clicked. It was probably the gear, honestly, like
Yeah.
especially helmets, like the cool helmets. But it clicked like in squirts. I was like, oh, I want to try goalie now, and I went to I went to a goalie camp, fell in love with it, and came back. I was like, yeah, I'm playing goalie next year. Like I had all the pads, and we used to be like a billet family for a major junior team in Spokane, like the Spokane Chiefs in the WHL.
Yeah.
So we'd always host players, and I think my love for goalie really came during that period of my life because like whenever we're just hanging out, like I'd throw the street hockey pads on and go in the basement, and the player that lived with us would just rip tennis balls at me. And so that's kind of how love started and how I began to become a full-time goalie. But
Yeah.
I also still love putting the player gear back on and going and trying to score goals.
Yeah, I do too. Like I love making the saves and everything, but any chance I can get, like especially in the summer, just throw on the player gear and just go for a whirl and it's still the best feeling, but I'm full-time goalie still.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when I'm coaching goalies in the summer, I'm coaching them, but also like, yeah, I get to shoot pucks and score on you, so that's
Yeah.
awesome too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way, but like it was always got to have fun and goaltending is the best position in all of sports.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like you're alone back there pretty much. Like a lot of
Yeah.
the game comes down to whether you make that save or not, and that's probably the most exciting part about it, especially when you're going into like away rinks or whether you're at home and you do something crazy and you just got people yelling at you. There's
Yeah,
nothing
there's
like the
no
roar.
better feeling. Yeah, no better feeling than getting chirped at and like I live for that stuff. Like it's so much fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best part.
Yeah, it for real is. But what's some advice that you give the younger goalies looking to get to that next level? Like I know you're on that smaller side for being a goalie. Like I'm the same way. Like on being that smaller side. So like what even just like advice for goalies that are like 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", like not the biggest guys, but still can make it somewhere.
Yeah, definitely like being a shorter goalie, you need to be able to put like do stuff that separates you from the rest of the goalies because
Yeah.
you get to the point as you move up levels too, like everybody can stop the puck. And it's like what can you do differently that's better, whether it's like rebound control or just like for me it was always skating. Like I felt like if I could have really good edge work and really good edges and like move across the crease really powerfully and fast, like that would be my edge. If I could beat plays and just read plays faster, that was going to separate me from the rest of the rest of my competition. And I think it's something that's definitely a strength in my game, like right now, even is just how powerful I can move and my ability to see the ice and see like what can be threats and what are not threats during a game have. And that's something that like film also helps with and just like watching hockey. So I guess like if you're a young kid, you definitely just want to sit down like maybe after you do your homework or whatnot and just turn on like an NHL game. Just be like, what are these goalies doing differently to make them unique? Because like if you watch the NHL, like every goalie is so good, but so different too. Like your
Yeah.
Dustin Wolf is going to be so much different than your Connor Hellebuck or your Jake Ottinger. And sort of just like finding things that you like about all these goalies and trying to put that into your game the best way you can. For me, like I watch a lot of Dustin Wolf. I also watch a lot of like Vasilevsky, a lot of Ottinger. Like there's things that all three of those guys do that are so different but so effective, and just trying to like not be one but be a bunch of goalies is probably what I would say to a younger self.
Yeah, that's awesome, and yeah, like just gotta find ways to battle for the for that puck, see that or see the puck, see that go through the for the sight lines, like especially as a smaller guy, like you got to find that puck no matter who's in front of you. If you have a 6'8" defenseman, 6'8" forward in front of you trying to screen you, you still got to find ways to find that puck.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's only one puck in the game. You gotta be able to find it and keep it out of the net, no matter what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's a great place to wrap this episode up. So, Bailey, thank you again for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time and want to wish you the best of luck with the rest of the season going forward.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.